Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Wait. Before we start, does this interest you? This distinguished gentleman is now live on Makeshift.com for a grand total of $30. Link in the description below. Make sure you snag one before the time expires because it's not coming back. By the possums, 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 by the possums. Now to your regularly scheduled program. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77. Their tagline is, "Seeing is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Appropriate Elk 2603, posted to r/am_I_the_asshole, December 24th, 2023. Am I the asshole for telling my brother he cannot stay with me over Christmas if he brings his prosthetic leg? With a 2-year update. Content warning for theft, manipulation, and ableism. My younger brother has a prosthetic leg. I think it is creepy as fuck, and I have no idea where he got it from. I'm reasonably certain that it is something I would rather not know. Wait, what the fuck? Hold on. To be clear here, my brother has 2 perfectly healthy legs still attached to his body. The plot thickens. He just has this thing he takes with him everywhere. I don't know why, I don't want to know. Before you ask, yeah, it is probably a mental health thing. He wanted to stay with me rather than our parents while he's home for the holidays. I said he was welcome to stay so long as he doesn't bring that thing into my house. He said it wasn't a big deal and that he would leave it in his luggage. I agreed on the condition that if I saw it outside of his luggage in my home, then I had the right to destroy it. He backtracked on staying with me and is at our parents' house, where he is miserable. They still treat him like a little baby boy instead of a guy who is almost 30. He called me again after supper and asked to please stay with me. I said he could, as long as we, together, took his thing and put it into a storage unit until he leaves. I get the key. He won't do it. He says that I'm being a bitch for not letting him stay with me. I think he needs to get therapy or medication. Or both. Or a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a dog, a cat, a hamster, something. Just not a goddamn prosthetic leg. Relevant comments and top comments. Dan Horace. I'm a prosthetist, and I have to ask, what does this leg even look like? Below knee or above knee? Does it have the pylon bare, or is there a foam covering so that it sort of looks like a leg? Is there a foot shell on it? Or is the foot component just sort of hanging out? The reason I'm asking is because A, prosthetic anything is mind-bogglingly expensive, and B, you can't just have a prosthetic leg if you have 2 perfectly healthy legs. You literally need a stump to make one that's specifically yours. Did your brother receive it from someone? Did he steal it? And just to be sure, it's an actual prosthesis, and not a leg brace of some kind. I've had patients and their families make that mistake before. OP responds, it looks like a carbon fiber cup with a steel knee and lower leg and foot. Dan Horace responds, oh, Jesus. AK prostheses are not cheap. That's an entire car right there. I would actually grill your bro on where he got it because it is 100% not his. If he stole it, he's looking at felony/grand theft charges. If he bought it, check his and your parents' financials because again, these things are insanely expensive and he doesn't sound like the brightest bulb. Make sure he doesn't try to sell the prosthesis or any of its components. I get that they could be hard to get for people who need them the most, but if the components are damaged in any way, they can lead to gnarly injuries for when they inevitably fail. If you do truly want to get rid of it, there are organizations out there that will take old prostheses and refurbish them. User a polymiss daughter-in-law comments, an emotional support prosthetic leg. That's a new one. User Fantastic Warning 389 responds to that comment. Her brother won it in a raffle, and it came all the way from France in a crate marked Fragile. The leg is actually a lamp, and it wears a black fishnet stocking, a black high-heel shoe, and a fringed lampshade. I'm about to find out how many people in my audience haven't seen A Christmas Story. User Chris1986 comments, I know this is extremely distressing for you, but I'm laughing so hard. At first I was like, is this asshole serious? She won't let her brother bring his leg? Like his whole ass leg he needs to walk because he literally lost a leg in some horrible accident. But then you clarified both his healthy legs are still attached and I lost it. Not the asshole, but you and I are not the same. I would need to know. All of it. Where did you get it? Why do you have it? What do you do with it? Did you steal it off a bum or something? Then I would stare at him uncomfortably until he broke and told it all to me. I may later regret my decision, but I don't often think that far into the future when something catches my attention. User Adventurous Revolt responds, "You and I are the same. Follow-up questions. Does the person who it belonged to know you have it? Did they die? Have you named the leg yet? What's their name? What's their pronouns? Do you sleep and cuddle with it? Does it bruise you since it's not soft or cuddly? Are you in a relationship with a leg? Do you take the leg on dates? Do you buy them Xmas presents? Do they have a favorite type of sock? I need to know." So many questions. Mechaface responds further, "What is the leg's life story?" User For Me to Know It comments, "You're pulling my leg, right?" Razmataz88 responds, No, it's the left one." Twisted Elegance 69 comments, "Does the leg have aspirations of being a sexy lamp when it grows up? The box says fragile. It must be foreign." Update on my brother and his prosthetic leg, January 4th, 2024. I didn't realize how much attention this was going to get. Enough that someone informed the woman my brother stole it from, and she was able to figure out what happened. She called the cops, and he got arrested. I guess he was sort of trying to do the thing where he could be the hero that tracked down her leg. Please don't ask me what the fuck was going through his head. The leg was expensive enough that he is facing real criminal charges. That's all. Sorry, there is not more to tell. Top comments, Gold Magikarp. I remember reading this originally and wondering why the hell he needed to take the leg around everywhere with him. I feel like he would have returned it way sooner if he wanted to play the hero. Viper Bunny comments, he quite literally wanted her to come crawling to him. He wanted her to feel as vulnerable as possible so that she would need him. I was medically abused by my mom. Sadly, this kind of behavior isn't new to me. As I have gotten no contact and been through therapy, it all becomes more clear. My mom has an untreated personality disorder. They want you to believe that they are the only ones who care, and the only ones to be able to take care of said person. They want them to be as helpless as possible. Sounds like he picked the wrong lady to try that crap on. Potential Speech 703. That's wild. I wonder why he wanted to bring it with him though. Is he obsessed with the woman and has to carry the leg with him all the time? I mean, stealing it is one thing, but why carry it around all the time? If he tried to be a hero, he could have hit it. Sounds more like a weird obsession. I don't think he wanted to give it back to be the hero. I have so many questions, but I'm glad the woman will get her leg back. This is something I never thought I would say. User Sassy Piehole 03 comments, "This is the most bizarre update I ever read, and I'm totally here for it." Glass Windbreaker comments, "I don't think it could get more bizarre than the original post, but here we are." User Original Doge Star comments, "At least with all the evidence, he doesn't have a leg to stand on." I'm gonna show myself out. Hat, coat, door. Curly Toes Goblin comments, "I guess you could say it sounds like he really stepped in it." New update. Update 2. On why I didn't let my brother stay with me if he brought his prosthetic leg, November 25th, 2025. So, it's finally over. My brother had to go to court after being charged with several crimes, the most serious being felony theft. I'll just put the bullet points of results. Found guilty because he was too stupid to take a plea deal. Had to serve some time incarcerated and now has parole. Managed to avoid being charged with a sex crime. My parents paid to have the leg reconditioned, or whatever it's called. A professional prosthetic devices mechanic got it back in working condition. The woman got her leg back, as well as some money in restitution. He is not welcome at my home with or without any prosthetics for the foreseeable future. The woman has a restraining order against him indefinitely. That's all there is to tell. Hope this answers everyone's questions. Thanks for still caring about this weird experience in my life. Best comment by Dog Poundma. Okay, y'all, this is going to sound crazy, but a buddy of mine was playing in the surf about waist deep at the beach. All of a sudden, he screams like a little girl. Turns out, a leg hit him in the chest. He freaked, thinking it was a body, but nope, just a prosthetic leg. He realizes what it is when his brain turns back on and pulls it out of the surf to the beach. Of course, his son thought it was cool as heck and wanted to keep it. Now, thankfully for him, he used his brain and sent his son down to grab a lifeguard and the deputy that was on beach patrol. He did ask the deputy if they found the owner, if they would let him know and give them his number. A couple of days later, he got a call. A young lady had been surfing a couple of miles further up the beach. She had a bad wipeout, and the clip that held the leg broke, and she lost the leg. Apparently, this wasn't a normal prosthetic. It was designed for heavy athletic and water use. She thought it was gone for good and was very expensive, as this wasn't something insurance paid for. She was thrilled to have it back, and it was being refurbished after being submerged in salt water for almost 48 hours. She and her family took my friend and his family out to dinner as a reward for finding it. They've continued to stay in touch, and she's an amazing young lady. She lost the leg due to a cancerous tumor. Now, nothing slows her down. She does everything an able-bodied person can do. Only thing is, they added another clip that ties with 10-foot bungee cord to her surfboard. In case it was to come off again, it would remain attached to the surfboard. The sex crime question, I'm glad that was answered because that was something that was in the back of my mind, is like, you took a woman's prosthetic leg and kept it around with you at all times. Like, there is definitely a pretty uncomfy implication there that I definitely wondered if he could get charged for that or not. So the question is, did he actually want to play hero, or was he holding onto her prosthetic leg because it was the only way that he could be close to her? Kind of like a jealous ex-girlfriend holding onto her boyfriend's sweatshirt, but in this case, it's a prosthetic leg that's worth the amount of a down payment for probably a home. Just yikes. This post was collected by Glumcraft4652. The original OP is Santa Visit Throw, posted on r/Am I the Asshole, November 11th, 2025. Am I the asshole for backing out of my dad's Christmas party after his fiance took my baby to meet Santa behind my back? I live a 5-minute walk away from my mall, and they opened up their Christmas display a few days ago. My husband and I were planning on taking our son, who is 8 months old, there for his first Santa visit this past Saturday. My dad's fiance is a very self-centered person. Most recently, she tried to post about my pregnancy on social media before I did, and confirmed their wedding date, which has since been changed twice, at my sister's birthday party. I'm not fond of her, but she's not usually too hard to tolerate. My immediate paternal family gets together for a small party every year on Christmas Eve. This time, my dad and his fiancé are hosting. I was going to attend it with my husband and our son. Last Thursday, I had a business meeting while my husband was also at work. My dad and his fiancé came over to babysit. I spent some time chatting with them before leaving, and I mentioned our weekend plans, including how we were taking our baby to see Santa. When I got home, my dad's fiancé showed me pictures of herself with my baby and the mall Santa. I don't even have pictures of just my son. She's in all of them. She explained my dad had wanted to take a nap, so she took my son out on a stroll. She went to the mall, saw the Christmas display, and couldn't resist taking my son there herself. Let me make this clear. I'm not too much of a Christmas person, and neither is my husband. But she was well aware we were looking forward to doing this with our son. I'm also upset that my dad napped while babysitting because we wouldn't have had them watch our baby if we knew it would ultimately just be her. And I never gave either of them permission to remove my child from my place while babysitting. I confronted her and said we wanted to take him ourselves, but she acted confused and claimed she didn't realize it was such a big deal and just wanted to have some fun with the baby. My dad also dismissed my feelings and said I was being dramatic. I grabbed my son and told them to leave. My husband was as upset as I was. We decided we wouldn't attend the Christmas party anymore. We'll figure out something else, but we don't want to spend our baby's first Christmas with her. We made it official over the weekend. A lot of my family has replied that they're not coming if I don't. So now, my dad is begging me to change my mind. There's still over a month left before Christmas, and I want to sort this out as soon as possible. I don't want to attend, but I also don't want to ruin the party. Am I the asshole? OP replied to a long, downvoted "you're the asshole" comment. I actually quickly read that comment. Well, not quickly because it's 9 paragraphs long, but it essentially pins the fact that OP is spoiled and doesn't want the fiancé to marry her father, and is very self-centered and a spoiled brat. That was their exact wording, by the way. OP responds, Okay, wow. I'm not nearly as invested in you as you are in me. Seriously, I think this is longer than my post, but you're making a lot of stuff up, and I feel the need to clarify. 1. They didn't visit and offered to babysit because I suddenly needed to leave. They came over to babysit. I invited my dad over with that purpose, and he agreed. 2. No, she's not his grandmother. Marrying my dad doesn't automatically make her family. No one calls her grandma. We all refer to her by her first name. He already has 2 grandmothers. He doesn't need a third one. 3. It wasn't sweet of her to take my son out. You don't take other people's children anywhere without permission. 4. You want to document an outing? Take a selfie. Don't do the thing I specifically said I was already going to do. She was well aware I was looking forward to taking him there myself. 5. I genuinely have no idea how it could be entitled or selfish of me to be upset one of my child's first was stolen like that. 6. She did mean harm. Again, she knew I was looking forward to doing it myself. 7. If I didn't care about my dad's happiness, I'd refuse to be around his fiancée entirely. 8. I don't care what my family does. I wouldn't mind if the people who are backing out of the party change their minds. 9. I genuinely don't care whether my dad marries her. We're all adults, and I'm not using my child for anything. 10. I don't care about being the center on the family universe. What? Especially not compared to my dad's fiancée who makes literally every gathering about her. And based on your tirade about your own father, you're obviously projecting. You can reply to this if you want, but I won't give you any more attention than this. User Super Unexpected Mommy comments, not the asshole. Does she always play dumb when she purposely stirs up trouble? Lofi responds, most times, yes, and my dad usually buys it, which makes it pretty difficult to deal with. User FlounderBetter2204, who was downvoted, comments, my parents did this with my daughter. At first I was upset, but then I realized at 1 year old, she won't remember it. I just took her myself for pictures. Now that my parents are gone and my daughter is an adult, I love those pictures. OP responds, I know my son won't remember this, but I will. I didn't want this woman to take him. I wanted to do it with my husband, and there will never be a point in which I like these pictures. Even if she wasn't in them, they would still remind me that she took that moment away from us. We'll probably take our son again anyway, but I can tell this will be in my head. Also, just to kind of tack on to Flounder Better's comment there, her father didn't take her son. It was her father's fiancé who is tolerated within the family. Bit of a different situation than what was described in Flounder's comment. User Secure Employee 1469 comments, go ahead and take your son to see Santa. He won't remember that he was already there and get the pics you want. As for the party, does your husband's family do anything on Christmas Eve? Maybe you can get together with them. If you see them on Christmas Day, or if they live far away, then get with the family that won't go to your dad's party. Show him that there are consequences for his and his fiance's actions. Opie responds, not on Christmas Eve, but some of my in-laws get together every year for Christmas. My husband doesn't want to go because it's a lot of people, and they're pretty loud. My maternal family also has yearly Christmas parties I attend when I can, but it's in a different state, and we can't travel comfortably right now. My mom and stepdad are going to Europe for the holidays. Opie replied to a question about why the Christmas display is up so early. It might be a cultural thing. I don't live in the US, we don't have Thanksgiving, and Halloween isn't widely celebrated. I've seen Christmas displays start as early as October. The mall near my place wasn't even the first to do it this time. User Quinoa Notes comments, did she have a baby seat properly installed in her car in order to take your child to the mall? Opie responds, she didn't drive there, she just put him in his stroller and walked. I'm already angry, but I'd be even more furious had she taken him more than 5 minutes away from my place without permission. Final update. 20 days later, December 1st, 2025. A little under 2 weeks after my first post, my husband and I took our baby to a different mall and visited Santa there. Their display wasn't as big as the one from the mall near our place, and it was more colorful, and they had a nicer tree. We explored the area with our son afterwards, and I came very close to tears watching the way he reacted to everything. We also took the opportunity to get some Christmas shopping and charity stuff done. Overall, we had a wonderful day. It didn't make either of us forget what happened, but I'll cherish those memories forever. In other news, out of the 15 people who had been invited to the party, not including my son, only 4 are still attending. 2 people from my paternal family, and 2 from my dad's fiancés, the only 2 she invited. My relatives who didn't back out of the party are my dad's cousin, who is visiting from a different country and staying at his place, and my grandmother, who doesn't seem to understand what's going on. I want to stress that getting my family members involved wasn't my intention. I told both my cousins what happened because we plan Secret Santa for the party every year. That's where the news spread from. There was also a weird domino effect going on with different parts of the family. I'm not coming, so neither are my parents, type stuff, which contributed to the amount of people who backed out. Communication with my dad has been complicated. He's blaming his fiancée for causing the problem, but also me for being emotional and ruining everything. The first time we tried to talk, he made a very offensive comment I couldn't overlook, and then accused me of being dramatic over that too. Our second conversation was better, but still didn't solve much. I was ready to call it quits and accept we'd never agree on this, but my dad called me a few days ago with his fiancée. She didn't really apologize. Instead, she reiterated she just wanted to do something fun and didn't think it would be a big deal, but didn't mean to upset me. Knowing her, I didn't buy any of that. I told her there were numerous things she could have done that weren't the one thing she knew I was already planning on doing with my child and didn't require removing him from my place without permission. There was no way she hadn't realized it was important to me. She just didn't care. She tried denying it at first, but she couldn't give me a better explanation. After a few minutes, she started crying and said, "You gotta have special moments with this baby every day. Why can't I have an hour?" And that led to another small argument. In the end, I told them I didn't know what they thought would happen with that call. I'm not going to their Christmas party, and neither of them will ever babysit my son, or any child I might have in the future, again. My dad has since apologized, specifically for the phone call, but I don't care anymore. I'm done losing hair over this, and I'm done being treated like my feelings, boundaries, and authority as my child's mother don't matter. I'm not cutting ties with my dad, but I'll do whatever I can to make sure nothing like this happens again. And I like the information diet idea some of you suggested. I definitely feel no need to share any news about my son with my dad's fiancée. As for the holidays, my eldest cousin is throwing a small party at their place on Christmas Eve, which mostly everyone who backed out of my dad's party is attending. On Christmas Day, we'll visit my in-laws and then return home to relax with our baby and play video games. Next year, we're traveling out of state to see my maternal family and go to the beach. This has been a very chaotic month, and I have no desire to waste more energy on this, so I probably won't update again. I'm not 100% satisfied with how everything worked out, but I'm glad the situation's been mostly dealt with, and this might actually be the most excited I've been about Christmas in a while. Thank you, and happy holidays. Top/relevant comments. User Mela99. Why can't she have an hour of special moments? Because this is your baby? I don't think she'll ever get it, OP. OP responds, my son is the first baby born in my paternal family in 2 decades, so I was always a bit worried things would get too overwhelming. Turns out most of my relatives are very respectful, but this isn't the first time I've had trouble with her and my dad over something related to my son. And like I mentioned in my first post, she is extremely self-centered. Part of me almost believes she didn't mean to harm me simply because I'm pretty sure she doesn't think about anyone else's feelings. User Foxy Sly Old Stody Fox comments, good ending. Well, though the best one you could realistically hope for. Your dad is, and I'll put this as kindly as I can, a daft bastard who still doesn't seem to grasp what the issue is. His relationship with you has been damaged by this, and it's had ramifications with his wider family too. But he's still got his selfish, self-serving, manipulative, and deceitful girlfriend, so maybe he'll chalk that up as a win. OP responds, it's better than I expected, honestly. I started trying to sort everything out so early in November because I thought we'd still be fighting right now. User Van Reason comments, you did nothing wrong. The people who aren't attending because they know what she did was shitty and don't want to be around someone like that. They aren't not attending because you're not. They're not attending because they're adults and choose not to. All these people recognize the special thing she purposely and intentionally robbed you from and think she's a creep, which she is. OP responds, I spoke with my cousins about this a lot. There were basically 3 reasons why so many people backed out. 1. They prefer to spend Christmas with me. 2. My dad's fiancé tends to go a bit overboard with the decorations when they're the ones hosting. Some of my family members went through a very traumatic incident on Christmas almost 30 years ago, so even those that still celebrate with us aren't really Christmas people. 3. Some people were only coming because of someone else who backed out. User Sunshine and Gumdrops comments, I would tell your dad to delete every photo she had taken of your child. She probably posted them to somewhere too, so delete those as well. OP responds, me, my husband, and my cousins have checked, and she has not posted any pictures with my son. I don't allow pictures of him on social media, so if she had posted something, I'd have reported it immediately. I've always never understood why mother-in-law types or even a father's fiancé seem to rush for taking a baby's first for their own. I mean, over the course of this channel, we've seen everything from like first steps to first words, first Santa. I mean, anything that could potentially be a crowning moment for a parent and their child. That's an opportunity for them to swoop in and try to take it. And I guess I don't understand what the incentive is for that, because you just piss everyone off around you. It's just a very selfish thing to do. And I get that's the whole purpose, is that they're being selfish. They're not thinking of anyone else, but I don't know. It just feels more like they're treating their grandchild as an accessory than they are an actual child, if that makes sense. I'm also very curious, because this was only vaguely alluded to but never fully explained, what the father said that pissed OP off in the first phone call. Just a curiosity on my end there, because I was hoping it would have been elaborated on in the comments, but it was not. So a bit of a shame. This post was collected by With Love, Adrena. The original OP is user SceneQueen2009, posted to r/AmITheAsshole, March 28th, 2024. Am I the asshole for spending my life savings, $7,200, on an ass job plastic surgery when my daughter needed brand new school supplies? 33-year-old here for reference. Last year, my longtime boyfriend dumped me. We have a 7-year-old child together, and I began making the circuit on the bar scene. I had some casual hookups, but no one who seemed like marriage material seemed to be interested, and I was also striking out on all the dating apps. After months of this, I began to grow disheartened and lose confidence, which is when I started to research augmenting my buttocks. I'm not a supermodel or anything, but I like to think I'm decently attractive. However, my backside has always been the part of my body I'm most self-conscious about. I had a consultation with a doctor. We went over the operation, and I decided to have a BBL, as well as 1,100cc implants placed overinflated to 1,150, which is a standard industry practice for those who don't know. The final cost, everything included, was to be about $7,200, which was all the funds in my savings, plus dipping into my checking for a few hundred, which isn't a huge deal for me. I had to make some spending adjustments, cancel a few subscriptions, and overall be a lot more financially cautious. But my daughter wouldn't go hungry or without heat. The surgery went off without a hitch, and I received the augmentation. Fast forward about 6 weeks, and I'm still healing, but mostly healed. Last week, my daughter came home from school with a note from her teacher saying that her class is collecting school supplies such as markers, glue sticks, tissues, etc. There was a laundry list of supplies of about 20 items. I did the math, and the supplies would come out to around $65. The note said each student was required to bring these supplies, in which really didn't sit right with me, especially because I bought most of these supplies for my daughter at the start of the year. I understand the concept of community supplies or donating supplies for kids in financially difficult situations, but the requirement just really ticked me the wrong way. I told my daughter that we couldn't afford that this month, and I would talk to her teacher about it. I made sure to make it clear that my daughter wouldn't get in trouble for this and that I would handle it with her teacher. And yes, spending this extra $65 would place significant financial burden on us for this month's food budget. Fast forward to yesterday, and Grandma, my mom, came over and is watching with my daughter while I get some chores done. I've fallen a bit behind on chores from resting up from the operation. My mom said she was taking my daughter to the store, and I said that was fine. They came back an hour later with 2 full bags of school supplies and my daughter wearing a brand new backpack. I was understandably a bit angry and confused and privately talked to my mom in the other room. For background, I always give my mom my debit card when she goes to the store to buy groceries for my house because she's on a tight budget and can only maintain herself. I figured she was going to the store to buy food for my daughter for the rest of the week, which she does often, which is why I didn't think anything of it. Turns out my mom saw the note from my school and took my daughter out to get the items using my card. I explained to my mom that I told my daughter that we couldn't afford to contribute to the supplies. My mom said that my daughter told her about what I said, but she decided to take her out anyway. She said it was ridiculous that I spent so much money on my augmentation and that it wasn't fair to send my daughter to school as the only one without contributing supplies. She also said my daughter's been using the same backpack for over 3 years and it's stained and torn, and I should be ashamed for not buying her a new one. I was honestly pretty pissed at her accusations and told her that how I spend my savings is none of her damn business. I told her that my daughter had her own perfectly good school supplies and that a 7-year-old doesn't need a brand new backpack every year or two, especially because I know she's just going to get it dirty with goldfish dust and dirt at school. Her backpack was fine and just had some normal wear and tear. My mom told me I need to get my priorities straight and that I'm not setting a good example as a mother. I told her that the money is already spent and we're already committed to a tighter budget for the next months, but that my daughter wouldn't want for anything and that our budget is absolutely none of her damn business. I've been thinking about this all day and I'm getting more flustered and angry the more I think. So, am I the asshole or is my mom overreacting and getting involved in something that's not her business? OP is universally called an asshole. Most of her comments are defensive. OP repeatedly tells people to kiss her ass. Specifically her unwashed ass, by the way. Update. April 24th, 2024, 27 days later. So, it's been a month since I last posted. Thank you all for your replies to my last post. Despite the many toxic commenters and miserable people spewing vile hate, there were some constructive comments, and I want to thank those comments for that. The feedback as well as some talks with my mother have given me a lot to think about, and I have come to the conclusion that the operation was a selfish mistake, and I regret it. I'm up late at night imagining how my daughter will view this incident once she gets a little older, and the things she will think. My implants will serve as a constant reminder to my daughter of the mistakes I made. They will also be a reminder to myself of my guilt and my mistakes. That is why I have decided to remove my implants. Oh my god. I had spoken to a doctor about the costs and risks associated with the removal procedure once I was sure it was the right decision. It was explained to me that for the removal to be as safe and successful as it can possibly be, the sutures have to completely heal before he can go back in and remove the implants. This will minimize scarring as well as risks of infection or similar complications following the procedure. The cost of this operation will be in the ballpark of $4,500, including anesthesia and all. I paid a deposit for the operation on a credit card knowing full well that I would have no problem making the payments and paying it off. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously. You had a credit card the whole time. You couldn't have put a majority of the operation on the credit card in the first place and maybe just done it that approach? Or, hell, even just putting your daughter's school supplies on the credit card. Because now you've spent $11,000, almost $12,000, for nothing. Good God! My implants have fully healed and all, but fully dropped, and I am scheduled to receive the operation in 2 weeks. In this time of reflection, I have also been dating a wonderful man who loves me, implants or not, and we are approaching our 1-month anniversary. I've had some discussions with my daughter following my last post and explained to her how much I love her, and that nothing is more important to me than her. My relationship with my mom is still a little rocky, but I think she's happy I'm getting the implants removed. She said to drive me to my operation and has not made any more hateful comments since I told her of my decision to remove them. I am hoping to repair this relationship as time goes on. My daughter is young enough that she won't remember this episode, and it will hopefully be nothing more than a bad memory from me a few months down the line. Thank you to those who took the time to read and be constructive, not hateful. Have a nice week. Your daughter will definitely remember all the time that you spent recovering, that's for damn sure. She's 7. She's not an infant. She's 7. She's still forming core memories. Honestly, I'm kind of just sitting here in shock because a good part of me is just hoping to God this is bait or fake or something along those lines because just come on. But at the same time, I know people like this exist. I also love it when people go to r/am I the asshole and are like, hey, am I the asshole for doing this? Yeah, you're the asshole. Well, fuck you and kiss my unwashed ass. Like you came to Reddit asking if you were in the wrong. Reddit said you were in the wrong and now you're being hyper defensive. Reddit can definitely have some pretty bad opinions from time to time, and we've definitely spoken about it at length in this channel. But there's a way to approach it. And it's not this. Ugh. Don't forget, today we're launching the 3 opossums in a trench coat plush. Coming live and fucking, yeah. But you should definitely buy this plush. It is totally not 3 opossums in a trench coat. Totally not. You should definitely allow this completely non-conspicuous, oddly shaped, distinguished gentleman into your home, who will certainly not lay claim to your pantry. This is in fact 3 opossums in a trench coat who will in fact lay complete desolation to your fridge, pantry, and potentially garbage. On sale now!